Hey look, I'm actually dressed for a change. It's your Wednesday update from me, and I don't have a whole lot going on right now because I'm actually finished with Chasing the Witch. That's the big news of the day, I suppose, is that I actually finished the novel on Sunday and went to Highland and had a really good time there. But I had to celebrate a little bit too. But yeah, got the novel done, knocked the first draft completely out. It's 82,319 words. It took me a little longer than I was hoping for, but between this issues and the fall, and you know that's another rest at this point, I'm singing the same old song, beating a dead horse. Well, anyway, so that's off my desk for a minute, and I'm looking forward to hopefully Carina Press saying yes to that submission and then picking it up and you guys, of course, getting it and loving it. It's a different story for me than I'm used to writing, slightly because I had to go a little deeper into characterization that I hadn't played with in a long time. I had to do a lot more research, which is nothing new in this industry. A lot of times authors do research, but we don't. Usually it's a quick hit kind of a thing here and there, as opposed to having to dig in and really figure out and remind yourself, you know, a couple major things. First of all, the names of the 5 families, the crime families as they are today, and then of course changing them, keeping up with that change as it's relevant to the plot. Then I had to do a lot more research on the Illuminati, and I just did a very, very cursory search for it. And then, unfortunately, it's 2 in the morning at that point, and you're just going down this rabbit hole of Illuminati to the 5 families that supposedly control the world, and then the Blue Bloods and all this other shit that's really pretty interesting, but unfortunately, you spend more time doing that, you spend less time writing. But it was fun. It was fun. And I actually enjoyed writing the characters that, for once, weren't just all-out badasses. I had to have them trip up a little bit just for my own personal amusement, honestly. Eric is a badass as far as his leadership skills are concerned for what he's going to do, but he's not the strongest wolf in the pack, number one, and number two, he's not just a total badass completely all the way through. So I got to show a little bit of that in the humanity side of things. And then same thing with the heroine, Alessandra. I tried to stay as close to Italian heritage as possible while making her Americanized. I know I'm going to have to go back in and start toying with the idea of what the Mafia is going to do after one particular plot point comes into play. I'm going to have to go in and rewrite the ending a little bit, expand upon it really. So this will probably turn out to be about 85,000 when it's all said and done, depending on. But like I said, I'm done with it finally, looking forward to getting it to you guys, hoping that Carina likes it enough to pick up the first thing and say, we want to buy this and publish this for you. So there's that. The next big piece of news, FYI, I burned myself yesterday. You can't see, hopefully, but there's a burn mark right there. I was actually smoking a cigar, and the thing sort of fell out this way. As it fell, I caught it this way, dropped it, sent it flying, caught the cigar properly in my other hand, and didn't realize till I got up this morning I had a blister. So I probably needed some Band-Aid or something like that. Anyway, second bit of news, as you guys know, the box set things are pretty big, and I've jumped on the bandwagon. So the folks at I Love Vampire Novels, who actually, out of the money I spent so far as a writer on advertising last month, they're the ones that had the greatest hit right away, as far as effective terms of dropping my sales numbers from on Amazon. The folks at Tweet Your Book had a slow effect, but I know what I'm going to do next time around when I do spend money on advertising. If I decide to go this route again, I'm going to make sure it's all stacked in like 3 days, not over the course of a month, because I like the consistency and watching the numbers go down every day. It was really cool. You guys saw that in the last video. But I want a faster rate, I want a faster drop, and I want to see if I can maintain it longer. But I got to really figure out what that's going to look like and how it's going to keep up. Until that point, though, the I love vampire novels. People came out with a buy-in. It's like, I don't know, 200 plus 250 for ad stuff for a buy-in on, and the only rules were it had to be paranormal or contemporary for those 2 box sets. I said I could do both, but I'm really gonna not spend time trying to kill myself this year, even though I feel like I've slept half the year. And I'll get to that in a minute, because that might segue into a hold on to the light post for Gail T. Martin. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, I want to make sure I get the work done to get one more full-length new piece of material out. The box set, we're toiling with titles right now for the paranormal one, but I've got a story involved, and Carrie Adrian helped me brainstorm something, and I'll see if I can give you guys a quick, give you a quick little update about what the story is actually about, because I really don't remember, truth be told. I know it involves vampire bikers. I know it's going to involve fairies. I think that's pretty much it. Come on. Scrivener's a little slow, you have to understand. Okay, yeah, I didn't even begin plotting it out or nothing like that. I have a thing with let's just hope this is it. Okay, it's not. Whatever. I lost out this one. Point is Carrie Adrian and I have an IM conversation where we have a loose idea of what the story is going to be about, and she's really been great for me as far as encouraging me to do this sort of stuff and also help me brainstorm. So if you guys buy her books and check her out and know her online, give her a shout out. She's a wonderful, wonderful writer and a wonderful person, and I'm really stoked to have that support and have her help with this kind of stuff, because the other people that I use normally with this kind of thing in publishing are slowly, luckily, getting busier, but you know how it goes. So having somebody who's at a level I want to be at and encouraging me to do different things has been nice. Now, real quick, I want to touch on, since I always do this circular thing, and a lot of times I ignore them after the fact, I wanted to touch on the fact that basically I mentioned that I pretty much slept half the year. So a couple things. From a, I'm not sure what you call it right now, but my ex had this belief system where what you did on New Year's Eve at midnight, that's what you spend the rest of the year you're doing. So we always tried to make it really romantic and sweet, and of course towards the end it was kind of bittersweet, and that's kind of what it was. This last year I was at Highland and I pre-partied beforehand, which this year I'm not going to do. But I pre-partied with the intention of not spending a bunch of money. Turns out I show up, I'm there for 2 hours, smoke one cigar, walk my check. I leave before midnight and I'm like passed out till 2 the next day. So I've spent a lot more time sleeping than I would like to have this year, as opposed to getting work done. But to be honest about it, part of it's got to do with mental state, where my head's been at, what I'm trying to accomplish. Part of it's been courtesy of the little cans I have on camera sometimes, or the bottles I have on camera, or the whiskey, or whatever you want to call it. So part of it's that. Well, that's actually the getting me to sleep part. And then another part of it's also been the fact that I've been trying not to do so much lately, but playing the up and down game. Uppers during the day to get work done for my client or my clients, and my editing and my own novel at night. And all it is 2 things. I showed you guys the coffee, but the other upper I use, it's not illegal. It's actually good for you. Yerba mate. Now I don't drink it the traditional way. I need to get a gourd and a bombilla, the little straws to go with it, so I can drink it properly. But when I was doing that, between that, the coffee, and the occasional actual real caffeine kick from Coca-Cola, I'm flying off the walls. except for the coffee doesn't do that. The coffee actually has no ill effect on me whatsoever. But then, you know, it's 2 or 3 in the morning and I want to go to bed and I'm not even yawning. So what do I got to do? And there's, you know, a few glasses of whiskey to go back down and sleep. And if I did it right, I wake up the next morning fine. But then there's those nights where I don't. And I was told I'm going to be in this cycle for a minute, and once I turn 40, I'll stop it. And I trust the source of information that came from. But this has been one of those years where, as a writer, I'm honestly, because of the meditation practices, I'm going a lot slower than I usually do. And I'm not so worried about trying to kill myself for these novels or getting things done or getting my bills paid on time, all this other shit that I would normally be freaking out about because money's not been so stable. But the meditation has helped a lot, but also taking some of the Tim Ferriss practices that he puts into place, like a complete boycott of the internet and computers and TV and all that shit for a day. It's pretty much what I did yesterday. I did the same thing Saturday, even though I wanted that novel done. But doing those things, getting away from the internet, other than the occasional thing on my phone, because I need my phone, has made a difference and made it so that I'm actually relaxing more. So when I stop this nasty roller coaster of up and down, I can return to something a little closer to normal. And I did mention that this would possibly segue into a hold on to the light post, and I'll briefly mention what that is. That's the thing that Gail Z. Martin started last year about this time, to bring awareness to those with mental issues, who are suicidal, who suffer from depression or bipolar conditions, or just have a fucked up head in general, because there's not really a lot talked about it. We talk about, well, obviously, cancers and shit like that. We don't really talk about health. To be honest, we don't really talk about anything regarding health, other than how the body shame, which is bullshit. But, because you can't see it. People don't know I got a bad heart unless I tell them. People don't know I'm legally blind unless I tell you, in which case, what are you watching? You look at my cell phone, one of the two. And mental disorders are kind of like that too. You don't necessarily know. Even when someone's having a temper tantrum or doing whatever they're doing, they flip out and they do something that seems to make no sense logically. And Gail has done a tremendous job of bringing together 100 plus of us in this, well, primarily in sci-fi and fantasy, but also those of us who write romance, those of us who dabble in the sci-fi and fantasy, since that's what paranormal romance is. To bring this to light, to give any one of you who is watching potential tools to help deal with it. It's really pretty impressive what she's done. I have 2 blog posts that are up now, both of which I don't know if they have any value or not, quite frankly. I've straight up pulled some stuff out of Code of the Extraordinary Mind from Vishen Lakhiani about his desire to change the culturescape and his concept of rules. I mentioned a few of the things that I consider to be rules. The first post I mentioned, I didn't know what I mentioned at this point. Long story short, I talked about this in depth when it was time for change. And hopefully that'll help you guys. So I'm not going to put this up there for the actual hold on to the light post. I'll do one separate for this, but I did want to mention it, and I will tag it. You see the hashtag down below. We'll have that, and I believe Gail's got a website that tracks all of the posts and links to all of them, plus her own little 30-second Facebook video that mentions what the campaign is and how it's supposed to be helping everybody else. And it's actually gone worldwide. I'm pretty happy to be proud of a movement, or part of a movement like that has a direct positive impact on people, even if I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I seriously have no clue as to how to help you. So, that's it for now. Catch you guys Friday on Facebook Live when I do that, and we'll see you guys around. As always, keep reading romance. I'm gonna go smoke this cigar, and there you go. All right, cheers. Chatelet.